Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. We're going to be building a portfolio website with portfolio items such as, with an image, your description and things like that, suitable if you're, a web design agency or a hair salon. It's really multi-purpose. We're going to be building the front end of that in Next.js. We're going to be adding a blog to it as well with authors for the blog. And yeah, we're going to use Next.js on the front end and GraphCMS on the back end. So it's a headless CMS. We're going to be using GraphQL. Now, my normal go-to is, for my website, I would just use Markdown for the content. And this is really aimed at businesses that want to have that collaboration. So you'll see with GraphCMS, you can have on the community edition, I believe, you can have, up to 5 users on the project, and it's a really good headless CMS. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of similar options. However, this is what we're going to go with for today, and we're going to be using GraphQL to query the CMS. And of course, there's not going to be any mutations or writing because everything is going to be managed on the back end. And then we're going to be styling out our website with Tailwindcss. Now, I want to go a bit slower through this and make it more in depth. So yeah, I'm going to take my time with it. It's probably going to take a few hours to get this done. I'm not going to focus too much on making the styling amazing because that will take potentially weeks to make it absolutely amazing. But we're just going to do some basic styling, but actually cover it a bit more in depth than I usually would. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create my Next.js application. So let me just dev course. So if we just do the usual npx create next app, and then we're going to put in the name of our project, which is just going to be portfolio. Let's just call it portfolio. Let's just leave it at that. So now that we're doing that, I want to start doing this. We're going to have like 3 distinct sections to this overall video. So the first one, we're going to set up our models within GraphCMS, and we're going to configure the headless CMS. That's going to be what we're going to do, all of that first. The second stage, we're going to get all of the data in our application set up on the front end, get all the routes done, get all the data done, and then finally we can worry about the styling at the end once we've got the data into our pages. So I'm just going to hit sign up for GraphCMS and then sign up with GitHub. So we agree to the terms, sign up with GitHub, and then we're going to authorize GraphCMS. So basically we're just logging into GraphCMS with GitHub. And you can see we have a few different options. So we're going to go with from scratch and do it from scratch. So we're going to call it portfolio. So, it's just going to be a business portfolio website. Let's go with that, and you can choose the server with the lowest milliseconds to yourself or to your users, more importantly, but we're going to go with the Europe one. And this is now creating our backend. You can select the community plan, and I think the community plan is quite generous. Certainly the way we're building out our website with static generation, we're not going to be using a lot of these requests. So you can see now we've got a relatively simple user interface, and let's begin setting up our schema. So the first one I'm going to add, let's add our portfolio schema like so. And then, so create model. We've created the model portfolio, and we can get going. So single line text for the title. So we're going to just say title. So we've got a display name, the API ID. We're not going We're not going to use descriptions or anything. We can use this as a title field. Validations, it needs to be required. And that's it. You kind of limit the character count on a title to something like 150. I think that is absolutely fine. Let's go with 200 just in case. So we've got a title. I think another thing that we might need is like tags. So we might want to say, is this portfolio item, in our instance, it's going to be, is it design, is it branding, is it development? So what we can do is we can do single line text. Let's call this tags. And then we can allow multiple values. And validations, again, they don't need to be unique or anything like that. This way of doing tags, it will allow for kind of an endless amount of different tags. So we could be a lot stricter with this. And yeah, we could just say, you know, you've got a list of 5 different things to choose from. But for now, let's just do it this way. We're going to want to have a image, so a main image. So we'll call it a cover image like this. We don't want multiple assets on this. We want it to be required and no initial value. And what that's going to allow, it's just going to have the asset picker on the CMS. So title tags, a cover image. Let's do multi-line text, rich text. I kind of want to do markdown. Oh, markdown, there we go. So yeah, our portfolio items and our blog posts are going to have markdown, so we're consistent. So let's just call this content validations. We need some content. That is fine. And then we could just do a description, because I'm just imagining on the where we're displaying all of our portfolio items, we're going to have the title, a description. So let's do description. And again, this can be required because it's going to be part of the front end. It needs to be consistent. So we got title tags, cover image, content, description. What else do we need? Yeah, a date for the project. So date. If you notice, we do get like published at and updated at. So we can just use those, to be fair. Published at, I think, is going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, no, actually, let's just add a date so we can pick the date ourselves. So this is going to be required as well. And I think for our portfolio, there is nothing else that we need. Title tags, image, content, we've got a description, a date. Yeah. Not really thinking of anything else. And I guess, you know, if this was a real project, you would clearly spend a lot of time thinking about this. I like to just, you know, for these videos, just, you know, I haven't made this. We're not copying code from anywhere. I'm just kind of doing it as we go. Because I think that's the best learning experience for you watching. However, yeah, if this was a real project, you would have the clearly defined content structure before you started. So now that we've got our portfolio model, let's add our post model. So this is going to be for the blog. Again, I think blogs are most businesses have a blog now. So this is a title field. It's going to be required. What we will need, we need a slug field. So display name is slug. API ID can be slug. It's slug. We're going to generate from other fields, and we're going to choose title, like so. So what this is going to do is when you type in a title, it's going to automatically generate the slug from that title field. Although if we didn't do this, they would have to type in a slug themselves. And then this one needs to be required. It needs to be unique. And we limited the character count on the title, so we don't need to worry about it for a slug. Okay, so we've got that on our portfolio because we're going to navigate to individual portfolio items using that slug. So we're going to need a slug for this as well. Slug. Generate slug from template. Same thing like title. It's already unique. We need the slug. Let's go with that. I'm going to do a multi-line text for an excerpt for the blog. This is going to be required because again, we're going to be showing this on the front end. So I want every blog. Actually, let's go with description because I think this is a bit more apt because we'll use it for our SEO description as well when we get into that. So it's required. Fine. We're going to want to have a image. So if we choose asset picker, again, let's just call it a cover image. We don't want multiple assets. It needs to be required. All of our blog posts need an image. In fact, no, let's have a blog without cover images. Let's do it this way. Title, slug, description. We want our markdown content as well. So let's call this our content. We need content. We're going to need, for a blog, I'll be more inclined to do a date and time. So, you know, if you imagine you're posting multiple blog posts a day, then date and time is going to be better than just date. But we'll just say date. That's fine. Oh, let's call it date time like that. It's required as well. Date time is a restricted word. Okay. So we'll just go with date. Required. So we got our title, description, content. We've got a date. Again, we're going to want those tags. So if we just do tags here and then multiple values, that's fine. We can add our tags there. And what that's going to give us is it's going to give us like multiple strings of single line text. Okay, I'm just trying to think what else we would want in a blog. Is there anything we're missing? So we've got a title, date. We're going to do the author model. Yeah, I think that will be fine. There's nothing really we're missing too much. Okay, so let's make our author model. And this is going to link to the post model. So we've created our author. So we want our name. This one is required. I'm going to do a slug because we want, we're going to want to, again, show the author's posts, for example, find all posts from an author, which will come from a different, it will have a dynamic route. So, yeah, we need it. It's required. Name, slug. We're going to want an image on that. So just call it image, whatever. It's required. And then we can just do multi-line text. We can do, for example, by biography. And again, that's required. And then we can do it. So, you know, we don't want more than 500 characters in a bio for an author. And then finally, we can do the reference. So we're going to define a relationship to the posts, multiple posts for an author. So authors one-to-many relationship with posts. So what this means is you have, you know, one author can have multiple posts. You know, in theory, you could set it up so that posts can also have multiple authors and you can add a lot of authors per post. But, you know, we're going to go with, you know, we have one author per post, which is one author to many posts. So multiple posts per author. So the reference, that is all good. Reverse field, again, the defaults are all good. So we're saying we're linking here from our post model to the author, of course, as well. So we can click create on this. Something wrong? Create. Oh, define relationship. Continue. Okay. So you can see now we have got a relationship here, and then we should also have a relationship here. So let's do an author. So let me add myself. So if I say Adam Richardson, we've got our slug. For the image, I think I've got an image somewhere on my desktop. Here we go. So let me just add this image. Cool. So the image is added. We can publish the image. You don't have to do it like this. Let me just leave it in draft. Biography, let me just copy from this website. So we've added in a biography. And yeah, we can save and publish, and then you can see we're gonna publish the image as well. So that's saving and publishing. So then if we go to now add a post, let's, can I just take something from here? So we're gonna do the title, we've got that, description, you know, how to use the YouTube API to fetch channel statistics and videos. Content, so this is Markdown. So what I can do is, let me just app dev, and I think it's this. So let me open that up in VS Code, and I will just copy the blog post. So you can see we're using a custom component here from Next.js. So that's an MDX component. We're not going to be going into MDX components or anything, but yeah, let's keep going. So what we will need to do is figure out a way to, okay, and you can see the Markdown is all displaying there in the content. So that's great. Date, so let's just pick now, 12:01, great. And then tags, we can do YouTube, development. Can we do it like this? API? No. So that would be like a nice improvement where we just hit enter and it refocuses back on this. And then we add an author. So I'm going to add this author, which is myself. Okay, so save and publish. We didn't do an image, but that's because we didn't add one. So if I go to the author now, we should, yeah, we can see we've got posts that are linked to the author. So we've got our portfolio items. So let's make a few dummy portfolio items here as well. So I don't know if we can just do a website. So let's just copy the image link. So let's create an item here. So what is this? Work hard anywhere. Work hard anywhere. And then we can say, you know, design, development, branding as our tags, cover image. So what we can do is we can upload, and we can do from a URL like this. And that's going to upload the image like so. Content wise, let's just get some dummy Markdown. Oh, we'll just do Markdown cheat sheet. And we can hopefully just copy a lot of Markdown. No. Okay, let's just take, I don't really want all of that. Yeah, let's just take this stuff here. and we can go with that to copy. Don't want too much. So content we've got, that's working just fine. Description, you know, what was the work hard anywhere project, date, again, let's just choose default now, and we've got the slug for the portfolio item. So we can save and publish that. I'm going to publish the image along with it. And yeah, I'm going to do that a couple more times. So you can create an item. Let's go back. Let's find a different image. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Copy image link, cool. So let's upload this image. Hopefully you can see that this is the content itself is quite easy to edit. And then let me just try, what's the name of that? I don't know, we'll just take take it anyway. Okay, that's done. Facebook app landing page. So we can do again design, development. That's cool. Content, we've got that there. Facebook app landing page. You know, I'm not putting high amounts of effort into this, but yeah, hopefully it will be good enough to get onto the front end of the website. And you see, I'm just adding, you know, random images. They're not, you know, we're not controlling the size or anything on these images. So we're gonna have to handle that on the front end. And then let's just do one more so we can have at least 3. I'm just trying to find another version, another image that looks relatively like a website. Yeah, whatever this will do. It's not a website. What is that? Is that Slack? Image link. So upload from link. It's really handy to be able to do that into a CMS, like with Unsplash, where we have that link. You can see it's already formatted and cropped. And then we're just going to take it from that link. So that's pretty handy. So let's upload this one. So title of this, you know, Slack app design concept. And then this is just going to be design, maybe say like branding as well. Just trying to mimic like what this actually might look like in one of your websites. So let's just again take that content, design proof of concept for a Slack application, whatever. Okay, cool. So we've got 3 portfolio items. That should be enough for now. And yeah, I have posts here. So if I just, for example, take these posts, so let's create the title. Do I have a description? Blog post, that's fine. Content. There's no MDX in there, no. Nope. Content. Date, so let's backdate this one. Let's say, okay, we did that one yesterday. Tags, so Next.js. I don't know, ESLint, whatever, that's fine. And then author, I'm gonna link myself. Save and publish. And then let's do this Tailwind toaster blog post as well. So title and slug, description. I don't know, let's just do this, whatever. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. This is quite a longer one. So we add that in there. Let's backdate this to last a few days ago. And then again, we'll call this development, React.js. And then let's add in the author. Okay, so our backend now is pretty much done. And hopefully you can see from a content perspective, we've got portfolio items, which are just going to be from the business essentially, and then we've got posts where we can have different authors, which is linked to this author model. So let me just demonstrate. So if I go to settings, we're going to do API access, and then we're just going to make this public. So content from published is going to be public. So if I save that, then if I click on this URL, we're going to get our graphical query. So if you're not familiar with GraphQL is basically it's a query language. Like REST API is another thing that it's compared to quite frequently. I am not an expert in GraphQL. I've built, I think, an online store with it, which was really challenging because that was the first thing I built in it. And of course, we were allowing users to upload products to the store, so it was rather quite complex. For our use case here, it gives you really good control over exactly what you are querying. So whereas in a normal API, you would, if you have a REST API, you would have lots of different endpoints for lots of different things. With GraphQL, you make different queries. So I'm going to query, for example, our post model like this. Well, actually, let's query posts. And then what I want is going to be, title, slug, description. We want that date. Let's grab an ID. We don't want the content because we're just listing them out. So we definitely want the cover image. What do we call it? Image. Oh no, we didn't have an image on the post. And then let's do tags and let's do author. And then because we have that connection, we can say we want the author's name, image, like so. And then with the image, we want, and you can see how we are explicitly defining everything that we want. So the URL, and then with GraphCMS, we get a width and a height, which should integrate really well with next image. So you can see now that we've got this data with the posts, and it's only bringing back the fields that we are requesting. So that is brilliant. Is there anything else that we need? Description, date. We don't actually need the ID because the slug is unique. You can see our tags. We've got an array of single line strings. The author, we've got the name and then this image. And like I say, it's given us a URL, a width and a height, which is going to work great with next image. So yeah, GraphQL is, I think it can be quite daunting at first when you first start to use GraphQL. However, it works really, really well, especially with a simple use case like just displaying information from a HeadlessCMS. I think your development will be a lot quicker using GraphQL rather than REST APIs and how the referencing and linking between models will work with that. So yeah, I really, really enjoy using it for projects like this one. So that is kind of, and just on that note, I'm certainly not an expert in GraphQL. It's something I want to learn more. And I believe I'm going to be making a video series on, GraphQL, creating your own GraphQL API. Obviously this one is generated for us through GraphCMS. However, you know, when I do full stack development, you know, that's not going to be the case. We're going to be building out our own GraphQL API the same way we would if we were using a REST API with Next API routes and things like that. We can do exactly the same with a GraphQL API. So yeah, not going to dive too deep into it, but just know that we'll touch on it quite a bit. We're going to be passing in some variables to find slugs for the author and for the posts, for the portfolio too. But yeah, just know I'm going to cover it more in depth, you know, as my knowledge gets greater and greater, as well as we do the full stack projects with it. Okay, I will stop rambling. Let's keep going. So yeah, our GraphCMS project now, we've got public permissions for publish content, which is great. What you could also do if you wanted to, you could, you know, add a permanent auth token that you would pass from the server. But you know, it's really not that necessary, to be totally honest. We're going to be calling this from the server side anyway. Okay, so the next step is going to be actually fetching the data into our Next.js application. Okay, so let's get into building our front end. So like I say, I'm going to do the styling last. Let's just get the data into our app and we can get going. So what do we call this? Just portfolio, wasn't it? So let's open that up in VS Code. And if we run our dev server now, you will see, hopefully, the Next.js default web page. Perfect. So let's what do we want to do? Yeah, so let's install Tailwind and get that all set up. So let's just do the install stuff now. So I'll just quickly run through this. Literally just copy in the commands. So let's in our Tailwind config, let's do our purge. And then I want to just set the mode to just in time, like so. And then we can just import this into our app.js. We don't need that anymore. We can delete our styles folder. And I think in our index page, let's delete that. You know, let's get rid of both of those. And we'll just keep this top level div like so. So let's call this, I don't know, awesome portfolio as our title. And we can add in a H1, just saying, welcome to our awesome portfolio. And then let's run our dev server. And then let me just reload this so that hopefully we can get Tailwind started. And then what I want to do as well, let me just add all my ESLint stuff. Sorry. Add all the ESLint stuff as well, so we get some consistent formatting across the project. So .eslint, rc.js for this one. Let's paste that in there, and then we want a prettier rc like this. And again, you can go to the website and copy this stuff. It's just adamrichardson.dev. Let's reload our window once more to get our ESLint config going. And yeah, let's save that. And you can see that it's going to auto fix everything for us. We do need to import head from next head. like so. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've got a few nice things with ESLint here that is set up. You just need to make sure you have in your settings so that ESLint is not pretty or is not formatting on save. Instead, we're fixing all on save. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's take a look at what we need to do. So we need to have this query. We need to do this for our posts and our portfolio, and we need to give access to this data within our index page. Is there a different way? Oh, here we go, API Playground, yeah. Is there a different way to do this? Because the last time I was doing it, we had a history and stuff. So yeah, so that's our posts query. Can we name this? No. And then we can do, we also want a query for our portfolios, like so, which we're gonna want a title, the tags, the slug, the description, the date, the cover image, and that we want the URL, the width, and the height. Let's go up here. We don't want the content. Yeah, so that's good. So then if we do this query, we can see we've got our portfolio items here. So those are the queries that we need for now. We are going to need another query which we search for. So how do we do this? I've forgotten. It's been a while. So query like portfolios, and then is it like, oh no, we want portfolio, query port, so we want portfolio, and then how do we search now? Is it here? Okay, yeah, where? Slug. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. Where? Query model not portfolio where? Slug, yeah. So why isn't that? What is the syntax for this? GraphQL slug query example. Slug query slug string, yeah. Okay, I see. So if we do query portfolio, no, that's back to the same place. Where slug, and is this it? Doesn't seem like it. Create portfolio. Where? So like this. Slug. Is this how we do it? syntax error expected. Where's the syntax error? Okay, I will wait on this one. Let's figure that one out in a few minutes. I'm just struggling with the syntax. I wasn't lying when I said GraphQL was not my strong suit right now. Cool. Okay, so let's start off with our portfolios query. So we've got our portfolios here. So what we're going to want to do is we use this GraphQL requests, like so. GraphQL requests. Where is it at? So GraphQL request is a library that just allows us to make GraphQL requests clearly. So we're going to add that library like so. And then let's do movie. Oh, okay. So let's do, so we're not having authentication, but let's take this code. So let's just do it in our index page for now. So let's do this. And then we want to do this inside of get static props. So if we do export cons get static props equals, it's going to be async like so. And then from here we're going to return props, and we want to return something like post and like portfolio and portfolio items like so. So then let's look at, I mean, we can do both of them in this query, to be honest. And then if we take post like this and then play that, so you can see we've got portfolio and then post. So let's just do, I don't know, let's just return data like this. So let's grab this query and, well, let's grab the code from our request. So we're going to do, yeah, let's do it like this. So endpoint, let's paste in our, let's go get our endpoint. So let's just copy it from here. So we've got our endpoint here, like so. And then we want to do, we can do a GraphQL client like this, but we're not going to put in any headers. So we could use a token. We don't need this empty object. We've got the GraphQL client, that's our endpoint. And then we can say like this, query equals GQL, and then inside of there, that's where we will paste our query. Where has it gone? Here. Yeah, so we can paste our query. And do we need query equals GraphQL? No, so I don't think we need to say query at all. I think we just do this. Like so. You can see that auto formatted there. And then finally, we will just say this. So data equals, GraphQL client dot request, and then we pass in this query. And then let's just, in our home page, let's take this data and then let's console log that data like this. And if we run our server now, hopefully we're going to have that data where it needs to be. if we didn't do anything wrong, which to be honest would be surprising. Okay, so let's see if we have it. We do. So we've got our portfolios and our posts. So let's just let's get these on screen. So inside of here, let's add a div, and then inside the div, let's say, so we've got data.portfolio. Is it portfolios? Yeah, data.portfolios.map. And then we'll just call this an item like this. So for each item, let's return a div, which let's give it a key is going to be item.slug. And inside the div, let's do a h3 with the item dot, and then what's it called? Item dot title, like so. So we've got our titles there. That's good. And then let's copy that. And then we've got data.post.map. And then instead of item, I'm just going to take post like so. And then let's just make it look a bit more readable and separate those out. And then this H3, let's just make these links. So we want to import a link from next link like this. And then those H3 tags can become link tags. And then the href for this one is going to be, so let's do /portfolio/ item.slug. And we'll create the dynamic route for that soon. So if you're not familiar with this kind of, syntax or next link, essentially we're using next link instead of regular old A tags, just in order to do client-side routing using JavaScript rather than a full sort of like browser refresh, kind of like that. And it will look more like, I don't know, it will look like this. So that's your sort of client-side routing that Next.js gives us through that link tag. But it's good practice to also include an A tag as the first child of the link, so that the browser knows, this is actually an anchor tag too. Okay, so let's see what we've got. A broken application. Yeah, so we need the href in this link. So with this one, it's going to be, we'll do template literals again. So this one is going to be /post. Let's do /blog. I think it's a little bit more descriptive. And then we want post.slug. So when we click on either of these links now, it will take us to /portfolio/ work hard anywhere, because that was a slug. So that is working just fine. Again, clearly it doesn't look good, but like I said, the focus for us right now is just to get the application working. So we can abstract away this code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a lib folder, and into here, let's just call this, I don't know, like data.js. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export const get, let's just call this get data. I should really call it something like get posts and portfolio. Like this. Let's just do this. And then we can take out this stuff. And we can take out this. And pop it into here. So let's make this asynchronous. And then instead of data and array, we just want to return that like so. And because it's an asynchronous function, you know, we don't need to return await, although, you know, we can do, but it will automatically do that for us. So now in our index page, we can import, and let's just copy that, get post and portfolio from lib/data like this. Then we can say const data equals await get post and portfolio. And if we refresh, exactly the same thing. It's just a lot cleaner within our file here. So I'm going to leave this console log for now. You know, we might want to, so we've got our link here, so we've got a div with a link. You know, of course, we're going to want to add on the time, the date, description, stuff like that. But, you know, we'll get to that point soon. So next up, we're going to do the individual pages. So we're going to have a different query for those.